Yeah, man.
Yo, Kev.
No original thoughts, huh?
I
got one for you.
What's that?
2 occasions dedicated to pizza.
2 occasions dedicated. Now you guys are doing, for those of, okay, let me kind of fill everybody in real quick. So me and the homie Shug, what up? Welcome to Rap Sucks Radio. Me and my homeboy Shug hopped on the phone this morning and decided to do a slow jam mix, but the slow jams have to be dedicated to food. Now I wasn't being specific. Like I wasn't considering specific foods. I was just saying songs that would be saying the food. Like
just general nutrition?
Well, I mean, you know.
Sustenance.
So how it started was I texted the homie Shug and said, yo, have you ever sang lots of lovin' to a breakfast burrito? And he said, nah. I said, cause I just did. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And he was like, all right. So then I called him and hit him with 3 more songs. And then we were like, yo, and then, you know. Then I just randomly posted that on Facebook, and now we're involved in this project.
Peace to MF Doom.
Right? The MM Food record, specifically. Kev, man, I got one opening question for you.
All right. If I don't fall asleep, you are welcome to ask it. Well, you're welcome to ask it either way.
Either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what you lit it at 8:00 for on a Sunday, man? You out here lit. What's going on, man? Yeah. I'm telling the people. The people should know. The people should know. We got questions, man. How could one be so lucky?
I saw a bottle of bourbon on the counter, and I said, that's not going to drink itself. And I was right.
I am proud. I'm proud, man. I feel like this is a great moment in Rap Sucks Radio history. I was talking to my neighbors outside, and I was saying that, you know, when you get your quiet time in the house and the kids are randomly not bothering you or whatever, it's always like that moment that you pull out the drink and just pour one up for yourself and chill out. And here I am, being proven right.
It's a pandemic, man. The rules have changed. Am I wrong?
Have they though? Have they really changed?
Yes.
I'm just considering all the front yard drinking I watched my dad do. I'm pretty sure the rules haven't changed at all. No pandemic in sight. This is 84.
That's pandemic preparation.
Right. Well, yeah, there you go.
It's better listen. If you stay ready.
You ain't got to get ready, bruh. You ain't got to get ready.
Oh, man.
What are the, I'm trying to consider these dad moments. Like being able to watch a movie on your own, which I was able to do yesterday. Or take a nap.
What movie?
Oh, I watch the same things over and over again. I'm going back through the Marvel movies again.
Oh, good Lord.
You know what's crazy, though? Like, I don't remember any of the plots. I totally forgot all the movies. Because I was watching them like, dang, who is that character? Like, oh, I've actually seen this before.
So, wait, which one did you watch then?
I've watched Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2. I've watched The Incredible Hulk. I watched Thor.
Okay.
And I fell asleep on Captain America last night.
Oh, I was going to say, you better not fall asleep on Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah, we got a ways to go.
Did you go through all those because of WandaVision or just?
Yeah, I think it was probably inspired by WandaVision, not particularly looking for anything that happened in WandaVision, like answers for it. Just,
I thought maybe you were trying to keep up with various nerds.
Nah. I mean, I can never. I can never, man. I can't do it. I don't have the skill set.
Check it out. Similar, completely different, but similar thing that I did, because I watched the 3rd John Wick not too long ago. Long after it came out.
Okay.
Like I'd been sort of just holding it on a queue, like, because my thing was like I wanted to watch it on a bigger screen. Like I didn't want to watch it on my phone, which, let's face it, that doesn't happen. If there's a big screen available and there's time to watch something, it's not going to be something I want to watch.
Right.
So like I stayed up late and I watched John Wick 3 and I was like, damn, this is dope. Like I'm like I remember the way Keanu looked like he was fighting in Matrix, the first Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking like he had pulled a muscle every time he threw a kick. And then, you know, in John Wick 3, he's I'm like, yo, what? Did he have a stuntman? It clearly wasn't a stuntman. Like, he's fighting. He's literally like, I'm like, wow. So I went back and I'd watched the first two, but I rewatched them. And it wasn't necessary. The first one was just very blue. It looked like it could have been a Smurfs movie. There's a lot of blue lighting on the whole movie. Sure. The second one was really just an interlude. And then the third one was like, I was like, yeah.
The third one was fire.
I
have a thing about answers. See, it's I think I've said it on the show before. Like, I'm a really difficult person to talk to about whether a movie is good or not if I'm already into the series. If I'm already into the series, I don't care about the quality of the movie. I just want answers at this point.
Yeah.
If they're promised or, well, I don't, promised or whatever is kind of a weird word, especially with that article that came out about how WandaVision, I laughed so hard at that headline. But, no, I mean, I start to be like, okay, you got me. Now I want to know all this stuff. Now it becomes like a history lesson, where I have to know all the answers. So with that being said, like I've done this with Star Wars before. Like I kind of just will be like, a new video game will come out or whatever. I'll watch. I generally don't buy the video games because I, just started playing video games again recently. So I'll watch the plot of the game on YouTube and be like, okay, wait a minute. What the hell? And then I'll just start all the way back over from the beginning. And yeah, it's a weird, very weird thing, but I do it a lot.
So like there are method actors and you are a method viewer.
I'm a method viewer.
Okay.
You know what?
I like that.
Kev, that was that was great. That was really good.
I'm here for you, man.
All right. We will no longer talk about John Wick 1, 2, or 3, nor any further Marvel movies. We got racism and cancel culture to get into. So we got to get all into this subject because we know you love it. Kev, man, we got to get to the other side, man. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Rap Sucks Radio. Blah, 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 blah.
What up, y'all? You are live on Rap Sucks Radio with your homeboy Track Life and your fam, Kev Dakota.
Mr. Potato Son.
Oh my God. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. We appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. For real. We really do, man. Thank y'all for kicking it with us.
Yes.
If you would like to catch past episodes of Rap Sucks Radio, you can do so by going to rapsucksradio.com or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. And I do mean any of your favorite podcasting platforms. We are on all of them, to my understanding. Or if you like to catch us on your television, you can catch us on BTSN Pass. That is Behind the Scenes Network. What you do is you download the app or channel on your Fire Stick, on any of your Amazon Fire devices or your Roku. From there, you just click on the app or the channel, and we are right there. We have our own section and everything, alongside other really dope content. Behind the Scenes Network. Check us out. All right. This is going to be a very interesting Gotta Chill, because it's not attached to any particular article. This will kind of be one of the first times that I can remember that we've just kind of pulled something directly from Twitter. Some like Twitter outrage reaction type thing.
Firing direct shots.
Yeah. We're going to do it. So, Kev, my selection for Gotta Chill.
Yep. Who was it?
Joel Patrick. Gotta chill, fam.
Joel Patrick.
Really gotta chill.
Nice, upstanding Irish man. Right?
Right? Maybe not. My topic for this is unchecked self-hate. I wasn't really being funny, but on another side, it is kind of funny. So listen, a young man claiming to be the legendary black redneck, in quotes, sets off Twitter wearing a provocative shirt for attention. That is my own headline writing, folks. The source for this is basically Twitter. The players involved in this are Joel Patrick, the legendary black redneck. Now, I will set this off by, I initially thought he was from Orange County because the picture that I'm going to state that was in question, was at the Orange County Convention Center. But so it actually made sense, but it still continues to make sense when I found out where he was from, where he's a native of. So one way or the other, it all makes sense. All right. Earlier this week, Joel Patrick went viral wearing a shirt saying, "This shirt is 100% cotton. That's why I picked it." Twitter went off. Black Twitter particularly.
To be clear, I said a nice young Irishman.
Yes. This is a nice young black male. He is very unapologetic about wearing this, which, I don't know. I'm not going to go so hard on him about wearing it. It's the weird response to it that kind of gets on me. But anyway, a native of Beaver Creek, Ohio. See, still makes sense. Joel Patrick allegedly raised $12,000 for a charity when he was 12. Although the Access Wire article written in June of 2020 never clearly states which charity that was. He is also allegedly a self-made millionaire by the age of 25 after dropping out of college at 17 and starting a tree removal service. I'm sure he's successful, but the millionaire is alleged. I mean, whatever. Now, this is the article. This is the 2020 article. Patrick is quick to point out the Black Lives Matter movement's dangerous potential to create unnecessary division amongst people. He expressed in Twitter, "We can seek justice for George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery without making it about race. Don't believe me? Look at the color of the investigators that charged both of the officers and the McMichaels. We must fight injustice together and not needlessly divide. Hashtag love thy neighbor." I'd like to stop here on this point.
What was his point? I read that.
Yeah. His point was that Black Lives Matter is dividing people. That was his overall. But the deeper point, his deeper point, where he thought he was really on some gotcha, was that white guys are cops and DAs, so we're in a post-racial era. We're gonna get into this, man, because he has a lot of he's really fake woke. Additionally, he advocates against the term racist being an adjective to describe only white people, slamming black supremacy and emphasizing that anyone who believes a particular race is superior to another can, in fact, be considered racist. I actually have said that on this show because you know what? The definition of racist is a person who believes that their particular race is superior. So he basically just read the Webster's dictionary back and claimed himself legendary for it. He is dubbed as the legendary black redneck.
By himself.
Patrick exudes, this is the Access Wire. I want to make sure that the people of Rap Sucks Radio hear how they worded this. Exudes courage and commitment towards the betterment of his homeland. He continues to use his platforms to voice out injustices in his community. And as an up-and-coming artist himself, Patrick uses his music as an instrument of his beliefs. Fed up with the constant oppression of the left towards causes and people he holds dear, Patrick is inspired to use his talents to influence and educate his fellow men. The young activist hopes to educate anyone, whatever their political stand. He continues to travel across the country to participate as a public speaker in schools and various events. Amongst his topics he has passion for and are the rights of unborn babies, the suppression of conservatives and Christians in the mainstream media, and the Second Amendment. I'm going to hold my last point. That's end quote at the Second Amendment. Kev, I'm going to hold my last point till we get into our discussion. So, Kev, this is the presentation of the Patriot, Joel Patrick, who wore a shirt for attention and now is fighting the great cause of making us great again.
Now, I sort of stepped on what you were saying when you said it, but would you mind repeating what his shirt said on it? This is a young African American man at what I assume was a relatively, I don't know if it was a political event, but I'm not
sure of the event. He was at he was with this.
I thought he was at
woman
CPAC, but it wasn't. I just assumed.
No. I think.
Okay.
Well, it's the
No,
picture
no.
said Orange County Convention Center, but whatever. I mean, that's just an all day CPAC, if you ask me.
Right.
But and the woman that he was with looks like, I didn't do a ton of research on him. I felt like, it was a little too much attention, but I believe he went to Ohio State with this woman or was speaking on her behalf or something like that. So, anyhow, his shirt said, "This shirt is 100% cotton. That's why I picked it." So, as a black man, a little, making a mockery of slavery. Now he fancies himself as, it was just a joke. So I guess he also fancies himself as a comedian. Which is sort of the thing that people say when they do something offensive. What? I was just playing. Why can't you take a joke? It's like, because you're not a professional comedian and this ain't no damn comedy store. So your mama, like, I don't know. What do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Like, did I just walk into the comedy store? I didn't, right? So sit down, fool. What are you doing?
It's also not funny.
It's also like not funny. So people this is my thing. And okay, I got a little bit of backlash for this way back in Rap 6 Radio, early in Rap 6 Radio.
Really?
For saying that comedians got on my nerves. Remember I was saying like comedians think like what they do is like completely God sent and heaven sent and that they are the last bastion of freedom of speech. And I'm always like, man, shut up. You tell jokes and sometimes they're not funny. And when they're not funny and people call you out on it, all of a sudden it's like, you're against our freedom of speech. It's like, no, you're a doofus with a dumb joke and you a cornball. Like,
I didn't know Joe Rogan had your email address. What happened?
Tired. I'm very sick of comedians or people who believe that they are funny, believing that their poor sense of humor and or just stupid joke is like needs to be the protection of freedom of speech. It's like, dude, there are literally people out there without a voice. Your dumb clown self is on Twitter taking pictures for attention, and all of a sudden your freedom of speech is hindered. Fool, you got 69,000 followers. Who's stopping your freedom of speech? Idiot. Anyway, I digress. When I saw this meme, Kev, I had a couple of immediate responses. One is I'm generally another thing that I've received personal backlash for. I'm just going to do what they do now. Just say like I've received backlash for everything. I'm being canceled, Kev. Anyway,
say it ain't. Say it ain't so.
It's so me and Dr. Seuss. No. I generally have compassion for black folks and, whatever, people of color. I don't really like that term, but whatever. Regardless of their stance politically, even if their stance doesn't align with mine. One of the reasons, Kev, is because growing up in the suburbs and watching people experience being told that they are not their culture because they're different or like different music or speak differently or whatever, I've noticed that those people tend to grow up to be extremely counter, like, just really hardcore anti whomever they are. I won't, I've known quite a few people from multiple different cultures that have turned out to be sort of more anti their own culture because they weren't accepted, right? At a young age, they weren't accepted. And they weren't accepted for what I would agree are very, very stupid reasons. They listen to rock music. You're not black, you listen to rock music. Or, maybe they don't really speak slang very well or very comfortably. And it's like, you're not this because you don't speak. Or in some cases, they don't speak the native language or origin language of the culture that they're from. And then it's like, oh, you're not this one. And I'm like, well, I don't want to throw a lot of blame out there, but I do say that there should be some accountability on those of us who treated people that way. Only because as an adult, I've had dozens of conversations with people like them where I've kind of had to bring them back to the light. Like, no, you're black regardless of how people feel. Like nobody took it away from you. You know what I'm saying? So when I read statements like what Joel Patrick said on his Twitter once, This is a quote from his Twitter. He said, "People say I talk white. There's no such thing as talking white. It's called speaking proper English." Right then and there, I knew you were picked on. You were picked on. And this is the response to being picked on. You were either non-athletic or whatever was needed by the few black people or few, centrally black culture people in Beaverton, Ohio, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I know small towns, like, rap becomes black culture. I get it, man. I get it. So yeah, that's the only empathy I'm gonna give him. Outside of that, he a goof nut entirely.
Yeah, and also you're a grown man. I mean, it doesn't matter what you look like. If you grew up and you didn't get beat up or bullied or whatever, it doesn't matter whether you're, a person of color or a white dude. It's like, dude, we all went through something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you grow up, the thing is that when you grow up, either if you were the bully and you don't come to terms with that and say, you know what, yeah, I was a dick. Or if you're the guy who got bullied and you grow up and then you keep acting like a cornball, it's like, dude, you're a kid. You're a child.
But people lean into it though, Kev, right? People really do lean into it.
That was not your origin story. This is not a Marvel movie. You're not. If it is, then you're the villain. You're the bad guy. It's like, is that really what you want? Like, come on, get out of here. That's not going to pay your bills. That's not going to.
But it is.
I guess actually, yeah, because he's selling a lot of those cotton shirts, right?
He's selling a lot of cotton shirts. He's allegedly a millionaire by 25. There's another that's, yeah.
I'll tell you something. This is the thing that I was waiting to ask you.
Okay.
Have you listened to his music?
Heck no.
Oh,
not even close.
Oh, that's what I was doing right before we got on the air.
Is it as terrible as I assume it is?
Oh, boy.
So what kind of music is it, first of all?
I guess one in this day and age would classify it as rap with air quotes, but, the only reason I say Little Nas X is because it's because it's country in look.
Okay.
But it's auto-tuned. It's like, and that's, and I say that way because I don't want to diss Lil Nas X. It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. It's pretty terrible. I tell you what, I'm glad he made his money in tree removal. Because there's a song. Let's see, what's the song called? The song is entitled. Again, his name is Joel Patrick. The song is called "That's Me." It's a remix featuring Forgiato Blow. Now, Forgiato Blow, listen, let me not give credit where credit is due. Forgiato Blow comes in halfway through the song, right?
Okay. Wow, you got halfway through the song.
Oh, yeah. Embodies Joel Patrick. Forgiato Blow is a rotund, substantial white dude.
Okay.
He's like Paul Wall. You know what I'm saying? He comes in. Paul build the wall. But the comments are just priceless.
Are they as brutal as I'm assuming they were?
Some of them.
Or are they?
Some of them were not. Most of them were not, actually. Yeah, man. I mean, just like any good red-blooded American, I opened the Tor browser and unleashed an incognito tab. Suffered through that video. Can I read some of the comments to you?
Yes, please do.
The user Vital Signs says, "Damn, dude, I'm not into rap, but you got me with this." Which is followed up by Dave GRP saying, "This brother is lost." And there's Victoria McG who said, "I like the original better."
Without the remix. Got it.
The featured guy was pretty auto-tuned. Plus the centerfold thing with the ladies didn't seem true to Joel. which is probably fair feedback. Then Astro Dan counters, education failed this guy. And Lamoka chimes in, Clayton Bigsby. Then you always got your one guy, which in this case is Don Dater, which says the original is dope. As a beat producer, myself, Forgiato's mix was too muddy. Lyrics were good, but his feature you could tell was done after the entire mix was laid down. Props though, keep up the great work.
Why though? Why that comment? If you are a person that listens to Rap Silk Radio that is that type of commenter, I'd like to know why. Like, go to our YouTube and go to the comment section and explain why you make those. I'm just curious. What is there to gain in that type of commenting? Like, in the hi-hat, the hi-hat was just a tad bit muddy, and if they had just, I'm like, dude, what? Shut up. Like, go away. Wherever you are, even if you're at home, go away. Go to somebody else's house. I
don't know what's wrong with this dude, man. What's wrong with this world?
I'm telling you, man, like at this point, it's being dismissed. It's being excluded. I'm telling you, I know it. Like, I grow it. No self-love, all self-hate. You grow up and you become very counter. Listen, I'm not going to turn this into, Rap Silk Radio does a psychological study on idiots, but which basically might actually be what our show. Yeah, I was going to say that actually might be what we do. That might be. Hey, I think I just figured out what to put in our description. You even see it in dating, right? People will be dismissed or dissed by a certain type of person. It could be body type, it could be race, it could be whatever. And you'll meet them at 40 something years old and they will literally hate that type of person. Like, they'll never let it go. It's part of them. Tall women with red hair are just the worst women you've ever met. That's where all that you'd be like, what? Is that a thing? And then you find out that, they got kicked in the chest in the Sadie Hawkins by a tall woman with red hair. You're like, oh, okay. That's what happened. I get it now. You're harboring. Yeah. All right. Cool. Hold that emotion forever, I guess. I don't know. You're only 50. Ain't got to let it go anytime soon. Die with it.
Oh, man.
Take it to the grave, fam. And that is what Joel Patrick is likely going to do. However, those same white people that are cheering you on are not cheering you on for the reasons you think. And you're going to take this L, bro. So I hope your money makes you comfortable.
I just realized that this whole episode is about to be centered upon things that we can't let go of from our childhood.
That is true.
That we should have let go of probably a long time ago.
Yeah. I know you're saying we collectively, but I would like to right now completely separate myself from this we. I know I'm already separated, but no, I don't want to be part of this. Did
you get kicked in the chest?
I did by Dr. Seuss. I don't want to be part of it. The Sadie, yeah. Not at Sadie Hawkins, you know what I mean? At the Shadow Oak dances in West Covina. But I had trouble with Cat in the Hat. I'm triggered.
Oh.
No. All in all, he's also a beacon of misinformation or twisted information. It is the funniest thing, but very, very sad. And I really, young brother, all the best to you, man. I don't really think you're happy. I'm just gonna go keep that out there.
He's out there in an orange pickup truck on 35-inch rims. I know this from watching the video.
Well, it's also a picture that he has with the orange chainsaw. Is that the same one?
Oh, I don't know. Why do Republicans love posing for pictures with odd weapons?
Right. Well, he has a tree removal service.
I guess that's true. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He's a millionaire.
Yeah, he's a millionaire. Well, and I mean, a matching orange outfit with a matching orange chainsaw with a matching orange truck. There's
safety first. Safety first.
Nothing wrong with this guy, right? There's nothing mentally wrong with him at all. He's perfectly normal. That's what normal people do.
He's a human traffic cone.
He got me when he was like, this is not the Confederate. He had the rebel flag behind him. People keep saying that this is the Confederate flag, but this is, and he put up the, Confederate flag with the banners and stripes or whatever. And I was like, they both are though? Like, are we doing this? We're going to do it this way or which way are you going to, that way? Like, you sure?
Oh man.
Then he put the Black Panthers storming the Capitol article up and was like, what would it look like if black people stormed the Capitol? I guess I know now. And I was like, no, you don't, because it's not the same thing. So you actually don't know. It's really, really tough for you. God, no wonder you left college. Oh, like, it's so obvious that you left college and why. Oh man, they'll give $1 million to anybody. Good grief. If there's any sign, before we move on, I'd like to say something about capitalism and intelligence.
In the same sentence?
In the same sentence. We're of the belief, and this was the last thing I was going to bring up about him and others of his ilk. People believe that money buys them out of race or culture, right? Like, I'm rich. I'm not black. I'm OJ, right? And hey, in America, that seems to be relatively true, but it's like kind of one of those old things. Like, when you got money, you got to watch who your friends are, right? And everybody's your friend when you're rich. So even the people that would have called you a monkey behind your back are now like, hey, look at Joel. That's the guy, right? Mm-hmm. His mix was good on his first one, but his second one needs to, all of a sudden they got critical advice for you. But I guess the other thing, you don't have to be smart to make $1 million, right? It's not about intelligence, right? There's some luck involved. There's some skill. There's some position. There's providing a service, the type of smart that you are to make money does not necessarily mean that you're like all around smart. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that every millionaire is not like a brain surgeon. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but they believe they are. Well, you'd be like, well, that's not how that works. No. I have $1 million. Right. I get it. But, a screwdriver is not a piece of chicken, but yes, it is. I'm a millionaire. And because I'm a millionaire, everything I say is intelligent. It's like, no, that's not how this works. And he very much lives on his Twitter like that. If he's proven wrong, he's a millionaire.
That's his
counter the information, he's a millionaire, right? So it's always goes back to him being a millionaire. And I'm like, see, this is the thing about capitalism.
I actually don't know how old he is. He seems like a relatively young person, but he'll learn.
He'll figure it out.
He'll learn. There's a reason why people still go out and play golf with OJ. It's because he is one of the greatest football players that ever touched a football.
Right.
Guess what they're not going to be doing to Joel Patrick? They're not going to be going out playing golf after he gets hemmed up in his orange pickup truck because he was the greatest tree remover in that region of Florida or wherever he came from.
Do not do anything wrong. That's all I'm saying. I just don't. No, man, look, y'all don't cancel me. I feel for this young man. Please don't do anything wrong. Don't put your arm around them women for too long. Don't smile. Don't go to the room with them. Don't walk them nowhere. And the dog, like, don't do nothing wrong because it's a wrap for you. It is. And you ain't got no backup. Cause we ain't coming. Your cousins, we not showing up now, bro. We out. You the legendary black redneck. You on your own. We kind of came for OJ a little bit. We showed up like, yeah, all right. You know, you kind of dissed us, but we here, fam. But you ain't ran no yards, man. We're not going to be there. So I'm sure he'll be fine. But woo, please don't ever do anything wrong.
Yeah.
All right.
He'll be all right. He's smart.
He'll be fine. He seems smart. He's got $1 million. He's smart. Kev, the topic title for the next topic is mine as well. Can we just cancel the word cancel? Is that possible?
Probably not.
All right. Fine.
All right. That's all for this week. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. Kev, the reason why this is all happening is because Dr. Seuss books are pulled and cancel culture controversy erupts. Now, I actually switched the articles. So it says New York Times, but it's The Guardian that this comes from. The players involved are the most fragile of the fragile. And also Dr. Seuss and the Potato Head family. This is where we are in society, Kev.
This is
how far we've
You know what? This is where we deserve to be.
We literally just landed another rover on Mars.
I blame Biden.
He did it.
To think that Biden orchestrated all of this from his basement is remarkable.
Oh, man. Whoa, him and the lizard people.
Sleepy Joe.
All right. Kev, last Tuesday, the state of Dr. Seuss decided that it will cease publishing 6 books by the beloved children's author, which contain offensive depictions of non-white characters. A week earlier, Hasbro, the manufacturer of Mr. Potato Head, announced that the toy will henceforth be known as by the non-gendered moniker Potato Head. Kev can explain to you why that's worded in a, okay, anyway. An army of defenders has now risen to protect the sanctity of Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. Social media and conservative news outlets have been consumed with memes and hot takes declaring the dangerous overreach of cancel culture, which they define as the process of punishing a person or product deemed offensive by some vague set of modern moral standards. Fox News, Kev, dedicated much of its Tuesday to proclaiming the end of Dr. Seuss at the hands of liberals. One Fox News host, Brian Kilmeade, exclaimed, "The cancel culture is canceling Dr. Seuss. It's out of control, Kev." During a congressional debate, the Republican California, God, he's one of ours, Congressman Kevin McCarthy somehow worked the Dr. Seuss controversy into an argument against a bill that would expand voting rights, saying, Kev, first they outlawed Dr. Seuss, and then they want to tell us what to say. Congressman Matt Gaetz, a Republican from Florida, lambasted rebranding, I'm sorry, Kev, of Mr. Potato Head during a speech at the CPAC, blatting, "Look out, Mr. Potato Head, you're next. I'm sorry, I think now he's going by Potato X. He can't be Mr. Potato." That's what I think he laughs like. All right, let's stop there.
First of all, the entire Potato Head family plays with dolls that look like Matt Gaetz. His weird old square head. Goofball.
Oh, Kev. Oh, what are we doing?
You know who else jumped in? Donald Trump Jr. jumped in defending Mr. Potato Head, which is the most meta narrative of this entire saga.
Oh, we're here.
We're here, man. People?
We're actually here. This is where we are. This is where we are. Oh my God. Kev, can you please explain to the people the Potato Head thing? Just so they know what's actually happening.
So the toy that we've all grown up knowing as Mr. Potato Head and then Mrs. Potato Head, which I assume came years later after an act of Congress, the company who is it Hasbro that manufactures this toy, which is a toy, decided that they were going to call the line Potato Head. So they were going to remove the gender from the line of toys.
Got it. So we're not changing the Mr. and Mrs. specific items, just the entire line. Okay,
I think that's what it was. Evidently, there will still be a toy called Mr. Potato Head. There will still be a toy called Mrs. Potato Head. You're free to put the penis and vagina wherever you want to put them.
Right, because they come in the package.
And obviously. First of all these people, if you were looking at the Mr. or the Mrs. Potato Head in a romantic fashion, you're a weirdo. You're a real oddball. And to use this is the thing that's getting you angry, that Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head have somehow gotten canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The energy that you use toward this when Mr. Arbery and the actual Ms. Taylor actually got canceled. And this is what you choose to spend your time thinking about. To this day. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when it happened. Clowns.
Nope. Can I make an argument that the potato heads have always been gender neutral? Let me explain.
Go ahead. You didn't catch feelings when you saw Mrs. Potato? Like you were like, I've been playing with Mr. Potato Head for a while, but
Ooh, look at this.
Ooh.
Let's see. The shape of either toy, before you put any of the parts on is the same. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen kids stick the arm in a provocative place with the lips anywhere they wanted. I've seen a pencil coming out of a potato head. It has never mattered what gender any potato head has been. You can literally buy both and then mix and match the parts. I've walked into a house horrified at what was stuck on potato heads. Like, whoa, what is wrong with your children? This is incredibly crazy.
So one could argue that the treatment of both Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head have been equally problematic throughout history.
It's pretty awful. It's like...
Perhaps one of the only places in American culture that has been truly equal.
I've seen a Mr. Potato Head with like a Ken arm coming out of it. That's not the arm. Whose arm? What gender? I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't matter. I've seen Mr. Potato Heads with Mr. Potato Head's lips on the lips part. That's proper. And Mrs. Potato Head's lips in the noses part. Like, I don't know. What gender is that? Who? I don't know. If you put all the parts in the package, you can decide. Go ahead. You figure it out. Pick which one you want to do. I've seen it with locks. You know how? I've seen a person put yarn on a Mr. Potato Head and it was potato head with locks. Is it black? Is it white? Is it Dominican? Like, I don't know. Because it's a fucking toy. That's why. It's a toy. We don't know. It's a toy.
Oh, man. I guarantee, see, don't say that because now they're going to try and make a white Mr. Potato Head.
It's right.
Why is Mr. Potato Head so brown? I feel disempowered.
I just know that it's the thing that nobody ever puts the parts back to. You're supposed to put the parts back inside when you're done. You open the potato, you put all the parts back in, right? My children open the potato and then the dog eats the feet and then we throw it away.
Can I tell you a dirty little secret?
Cruelty. What's that?
You never had a Mr. Potato Head.
I didn't have one as a child. My oldest daughter did.
See, it's a fancy toy. That's the thing.
Is it? Is it though? Is it really? Are we sure? I feel like we're not sure. None of us are sure about that. We actually half of this show disagrees. It's not a fancy toy. It's a very cheap, ridiculous toy. It's not a transformer or something, fresh like Voltron, where you get all of them and you put them together and like the face is a lion and it's going down. No, this is
I didn't have a Voltron. I actually made a Voltron out of potatoes. Interesting. And
wait, what gender was it?
That.
You had brought up Star Wars. Now I remember something different about Star Wars than you do, so we can talk about the Star Wars thing. Because she didn't go out like Gina did. So I don't remember the outrage from the actress that is now the lead actress for Raya, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that outrage. I remember her having to cancel her Twitter account because people were calling her ugly constantly, and it was ridiculous. But I don't remember like how deep that went. I mean, obviously it went deeper than it should have gone because she ultimately, for her own sanity, I was reading an article about it yesterday.
Yeah, Kelly Marie Tran, right?
Kelly Marie Tran, where she basically had to back away from social media from all of the disgusting things that were said to her and about her. Yeah. Simply for being an Asian actress in a leading role in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's
not because she compared herself.
First of all, what did you want her to do? So the Star Wars team, I'm assuming not necessarily George Lucas, but the Star Wars team calls and says, "Hey, you got a role in the next Star Wars movie," and she says, "Nah, I'm Asian. It's not right." Like, so a bunch of incels got mad at her, bunch of dudes who live in their, mother's basement doing awful things to themselves.
Awful. Good grief. You want to talk about Mr. Potato Head. Jeez. Know what they're doing with their parts.
Where did that hand go?
Exactly. Listen, she, and this is the thing about quote unquote cancel culture and the response to it and how people are essentially canceling themselves and then blaming other people. Gina Carano made provocative statements deliberately for attention. That is what she was doing. Right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if that was her intent, she succeeded. I don't know if that was her intent. She might just be really stupid.
I'm going to say that was her intent to some degree, right? And plus, maybe wrestler, maybe some CTE or whatever. So, no, I'm not even being funny. Like I'm actually
CTE,
serious.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it sounds funny, but I'm not. I'm actually kind of being serious. But now, Kelly Marie Tran suffered
a totally different
constant hate,
right? Yeah,
direct hate on Twitter and on social media for nothing at all. Didn't say a single word. And didn't also, even give an acceptance speech.
I might be projecting Asian youth on her, but I got the feeling that she was super young when this was all happening. I mean, relatively speaking. Like, I don't know if she was, legally an adult or whatever, but she's young. She's objectively young, right? So when the Star Wars, whatever movie that was, came out, I could see her just, being like, Mom, what am I supposed to, like, what is this? Like, this is ridiculous, right? Like at that age where you're like, I don't even know what to do, So, right. And she, like you said, she didn't do anything. Yeah, Gina Carano was like, all right, I'm going to shoot off my mouth. And if you want to do that and say, like, come at me, then when someone comes at you, stop crying.
Take your L. It's a comfortable.
Put your hands up.
Yeah.
Protect yourself.
Right. You should.
But when you lose, that's it.
Listen. Exactly. Point made and complete. One person decided to make provocative statements to that could possibly and ultimately did affect her job. Much of it was very well planned at the end. We all were pretty clear that this was planned. It seemed obviously planned. And then, oh, I got a movie deal on the other side of town. Oh, yeah. Did you really? Oh, that's new. That just happened. Yeah, okay. Sure. Yeah. That's me at dinner with her. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're interesting. Uh-huh. Anyway, salad and check.
This is the thing. We are grown-ups. I've said this from probably about episode 4 or 5 of this podcast. You can say whatever you want.
Do it.
We're going to say whatever we want on this podcast.
Absolutely.
But I think both of us know that at some point, if we say something and we walk out in the street and the person who we said it about decides they want to take a poke at us and we get punched in the face, hey, there you go. I would prefer you don't put a bullet in my chest because I said that you have a wide face. What do you want? So take your L and go make your movie with the maestro Ben Shapiro.
But see, what's going to happen in 4 years when people are not backing these things financially anymore? You know what I'm saying? When you were the rebel,
right?
And people were like, "Oh, rebellion isn't really that fresh anymore."
But that's the thing. No one's going to care. No one's going to be doing. No one at Fox News is going to do a retrospective on where is she now. They're not going to care. They're going to be on to the next Potato Head or whatever. No one cares. No one cares.
And its bucket of parts.
Yeah.
You know what? We haven't covered the Dr. Seuss thing. It should be relatively simple, but we can. But the other thing is, Hasbro's already freaking liars. Potato Head never came with a bucket of anything. There was no bucket. It's a bucket of parts. Where was the bucket? I never saw a bucket. So you've all been deceived by the lizard people. You're supposed to have a bucket. That's where it is. That's your 40 acres and a mule for this Potato Head thing.
Where'd you buy your potato head? Potato Head from the 99-cent store? Dollar General?
The Piggly
Senor
Wiggly.
Papa?
The Piggly Wiggly, fam.
What happened,
That's
man?
where I got it. I'm pissed. Kicked in the chest by Miss Potato Head at Sadie Hawkins. Mrs. Potato Head. When she was just Miss. You know? Now I'm bitter. And I'm wearing sweatshirts.
I hear it, man.
I'm wearing sweatshirts.
I'm here for you. I'm sending you a care emoji.
This potato is gender neutral, and that's why I picked it.
If they were smart, they would just sell the potato with nothing.
And make you buy the parts.
Just a potato with a marker.
Hey, you know what they should do? Hey, let's take this way too far so that people who haven't already tuned out of the show tune out now. What they should do is they should sell the potato, right? With a mystery pack of parts.
Ooh.
Right? So you might not, and it's not even about gender. Like you might only get two left arms. Like you never know what's in the package.
Hey, listen, differently abled potato.
There you go.
Potato head.
Fix it up. That fixes it
You got
up.
the grab bag. You got various limbs. Couple 25th anniversary Pokemon cards in there. Whatever.
Hey, put a rebel flag in there as you get further to the side. Maybe a General Lee hat. Like, yeah, let's go. We can do it. We can do it. Listen, and as we get on to the 6 books that were canceled by Dr. Seuss, first of all, what was his problem with Asians? Does anybody know? Did he ever explain it?
It seems like he legit had an issue. You know, like, I think we all go through times in life where we are paying attention to politics, right? Like, that's human nature, right? Like, unless there are a few people who are always into the political issues of the moment, right? So we sort of drift in and out of our self-righteousness about these things. So he was, and I'm not defending him, he was super into the internment of Japanese.
Okay.
During World War II. And then later on, you know, while he still had a public voice, realized that, hey, maybe that wasn't the best thing in the world. Probably wasn't cool.
So he was super pro the internment of Japanese, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Go ahead.
You know, and then later on, you know, sort of realized that probably wasn't the coolest thing in the world, and seemed to, I think people, they say Horton Hears a Who or whatever is somehow related to how that might not have been the most equitable solution to Japanese Americans, who, you know, and dedicated it, I think, to his Japanese buddy or whatever. So, you know, but it is what it is. You know, you live, hopefully you learn a little something. You know, you're probably going to say a lot of stupid things. You're probably going to do a lot of stupid things. If you can move past that, try to. But when you just focus in on one aspect of anybody's life, you're probably going to be disappointed. I mean, no, you know, it is what it is. And that's the thing that kills me about this, because it's not even like any of that is being discussed in the context of 6 of his books. Okay, so first of all the people who are really angry about, or whatever, have any kind of negative opinion about Dr. Seuss. Because it's not, I don't see a lot of people who are, I know there are a lot of people who are super against, like saying Dr. Seuss got canceled. First of all, he didn't. But I see a lot of people who are like, I never saw anything wrong with his books. It's like, well, no, you probably didn't. One, because you don't read. And I know you don't have a deep connection to his body of work, right? The man wrote and illustrated like over 60 books. His estate decides to pull back on 6 of them.
Right.
None of which was among the most popular, right?
No, not until after
and
they
then,
decided to. Really.
And then according to Forbes, the day after the announcement this week, 9 of the top 10 books on Amazon's best-selling chart were by Dr. Seuss. So even if it was just a play, excellent, nicely done.
Sure.
Right? But I never saw anything wrong with Dr. Seuss. It's like, you don't even read the assembly instructions for your IKEA bookshelf. And all those are pictures. So cut it the hell out.
You probably have never seen the books that they're talking about, by the way.
That's the thing. Those books, by the way, now, the day after, those books are going for like $9,000, $8,000, $9,000 at used bookstores, right?
Aftermarket, yeah.
Which is a whole separate issue. But yeah, since when did your dumbass ever read? I mean, you're the kind of person who tells your friends that you read audiobooks. Come on, man. Cut it out.
I don't know, Kev. I think that, you know, the immediate outrage without really understanding both issues is kind of what's happening. I think they're doomed by their own worry, right? You're canceling things without even understanding them. It's like, but you're worried about things being canceled without understanding them. Like you don't really know what's going on. So, and then when you find out what's going on, you kind of go into the, I call it, yeah, but still though mode. You know, you know, you're wrong about something, but you can't truly be wrong. So yeah, but still though.
Joe Biden's America.
Yeah, right. Still, this is just the start of things. It's like, well, you said that like 7 years ago. So
they weren't so busy canceling Dr. Seuss, we'd all been vaccinated.
Right.
Ugh. By the way, Dr. Seuss, I mean, the Cat in the Hat is probably the most famous pimp in American literature, I would contend.
Very true. Either
him or the man in the yellow hat.
What was he pimping? Wait, he was pimping Curious George?
Yeah, I don't.
You never know. You never know.
He's next. He's next.
He's next, yo. He's next. You better, Andre 3000. You better run, man. You better run doing these jingles, fam. Oh man. I think I have a couple friends. I think some of them probably listen to this show, and they're very much kind of on the fence about these type of things. I think largely because the word privilege is thrown around. I don't mean this in a negative way, but they grew up in a pretty privileged environment, I guess privilege is a poor word, just an environment where there wasn't a lot of despair. And I think that's dope. That's a testament to hard work of your parents, things of that nature. Right. But I guess you don't really see the effect of these things if they don't affect you. I think that's the thing. So that's kind of why I asked the question about why people always list their whole ethnicity and background when they want to defend something racist. It's like, yeah, but still, after you've listed all of these things that you are, you clearly grew up in a space where none of this stuff affected you.
Right.
So I don't know why you feel like you should have this strong opinion on it, especially when, again, those things were not hitting your shelves or your school anyway. Like we weren't, even in my day when we learned that Christopher Columbus was great before we started teaching kids that he was a mass murderer, like we should be. The images in those Dr. Seuss books weren't in my school books. They weren't in my history, but they weren't anywhere around. We didn't learn that as children because people saw them and was like, no, we're not going to read that book in the school. They had already taken it out of many places where you would have seen them probably at the start of your childhood. So, to remove them entirely seems only right to me, and I close my point on it by saying this. If you're upset about living in a world where everyone is considered, then you're probably a bit of a BITC yourself, right? Like you are the third best player on the T-ball team that thinks he's the first best player. You're nobody. You're a person with an orange truck at this point. And your belief that you deserve to have whatever is going on in your time preserved for centuries going forward is pointless, because that's not how the world works. That's not how human evolution works. That's not how anything works. None of it works that way. Things that were cool when you were a kid or acceptable when you were a kid tend to not be acceptable or cool when you get older. That's why you're never the cool dad that you think you are. You actually are just a doofus dude with dreadlocks and a cool DP Sound sweatshirt.
Take it easy.
You're not. You're not as cool as you think you are. Yeah, settle down, right? Look, I'm talking to myself now. You guy. But these type of things really, I'm kind of passionate about them because I think that people are really fighting against inclusion more than they're fighting against cancellation. The inclusion is what bothers them, not the cancellation. It's the inclusion. It's the voices being heard, because there was a time when your voice was the only voice that mattered. And now that other people's voices matter, you are like, oh man, why are we doing this? How come? Well, yeah, the inclusion bothers you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And don't get all sad and teary-eyed when the word privilege is used. You might be privileged. Think about it objectively. That means you have things and have access to things that other people who live right next door to you may not have. And stop acting like everyone's trying to take those things away from you. I'm not trying to take your guns away. I'm not trying to take away your books. Go do whatever you want. Read whatever you want. But if you happen to be a privileged Asian person and someone walks up to your house and on your garage paints a picture like the picture that is in the Dr. Seuss book that got taken out of circulation by his team after 50 years of it being in existence.
Correct.
Guess what? You would be calling the cops. You would probably be pretty upset. If you are an African American person and you don't think there's anything wrong with Dr. Seuss getting canceled, but somebody walked up to your house and drew a picture of somebody with stereotypical features on your garage, you'd probably be pretty pissed off too. There's a number of things. So stop thinking about it as, if you are so happy that with your life that you don't think anyone else should feel victimized, you've missed the entire point. of what's allowed you to get to where you are. You know what I'm saying?
Bottom line.
So yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think if you believe that you grew up without advantages, especially if you grew up where I grew up, you're full of it. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that was around me or where I grew up was totally like, 90210 or whatever. But the reality is, there were certain, you were a little further up the ladder in some cases than in other cases, especially where I came from initially, right? So yeah, I think to pretend like the cancellation is really about, it's the inclusion, and you should probably deal with that people being included is what's truly affecting you emotionally and touching your soul in such a deep way that you are now triggered by all these things. You should deal with that personally.
Either that or recognize the fact that, there are actual human beings getting killed by actual cops in this world right now, or actual vigilantes who think they're cops, or who couldn't even become cops, or who think they're special because their skin has a certain color. So, when you want to be sad, cut it out. Cause nobody cares about your feelings right now.
Listen, man, if you are talking about cancel culture and you talked about it in January as we celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday, a man who was turned from a living human being into a holiday for his opinion, you're missing the point. And it's not to be preachy. It's just that you're missing the point. Like, you're totally missing the point, and you want to have these weird conversations. Listen, anyway, all right, I digress. You've been listening to Rap 6 Radio, and we appreciate that. So thank y'all for tuning in to Rap 6 Radio with my man Kev Sakota, myself, Trek Life. If you'd like to catch past episodes of Rap 6 Radio, please go to rap6radio.com. Tune in there, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. If you would like to catch this on your television, you can go to BTSN Pass, Behind the Scenes Network. Download it on your Roku or any of your Amazon Fire devices, and click on the Apple channel, and we are right there chilling with much, 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 much more dope content on BTSN. Thank y'all for kicking it with us. Next week, I'd actually like to talk about the Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak record, but less about the record and more about Bruno Mars' response to cultural appropriation. So I'm going to actually give you guys some preview. You guys got some homework to jump into. Aside from that, there are some other things that we missed. There's a story that Omega brought up that I want to discuss, and a story that Data One brought up that I want to discuss. Those are going to go to the archives. Way too much information.
Mr. Potato Head write the Bruno Mars song?
Leaving the door open? Shouldn't it be leave the potato open? All right. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. On the count of three, we say peace. 1, 2, 3. Peace. We out, y'all. Did you just throw up a gang sign? What the heck?
I did not.